We shall chant from verse number 40. नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात् व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखायनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम् यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवदन्त्यविपश्चितः वेदवादरताः पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः कामात्मानः स्वर्गपराः जन्मकर्मफलप्रदाम् क्रियाविशेषबहुलाम् भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तयापहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. So Bhagavan says that there are these two buddhis or two paths, the Jnana Marga and the Karma Marga. That Jnana is called Sankhya here. It's the knowledge of the self. And then we have Karma Marga. So Karma Marga is the first step and Jnana Marga is the second, last. So Bhagavan first showed Arjuna his supreme goal, and that is to recognize ourselves as we are, free from birth, free from death, pure existence, consciousness, bliss. And knowing that self of that nature, once Bhagavan says you live in this world, knowing the self of this nature, Bhagavan tells Arjuna that you don't have to grieve. But to realize that self, we have to prepare our mind, prepare our antakarana. Theoretically we might understand, but to actually realize it, we have to prepare our antakarana. So for that, karma is the marg. With this karma, not only we fulfill our duties in this world, but we also fulfill our duties which are directed towards the devatas, etc., the dharmic duties. And we can, through karma, we can fulfill our desires also. Whatever desires we have, which are dharmic proper, can also be fulfilled through karma, through proper means. But one who wants to realize that self, the first step is to give up all those desire-prompted activities, only perform our duties. Within that duty, whatever desires are there, that is fine. But outside those duties, one should not entertain any desires. And those, our kartavya karma, our duties also, should be performed as a worship of Bhagwan. In that also one should try to reduce the insistence on a particular result. Whatever result comes should be accepted as Bhagwan's prasad, Bhagwan's will. So when we follow, this is called the path of Karma Yoga, wherein we perform our duties as worship of God. Then it is Karma Yoga. Bhagwan says, compared to the performing our duties or following desire prompted activities, this Karma Yoga is much, much better. And he gives various beauties of this Karma Yoga, that there is no loss of action in Karma Yoga, that there is no contrary results, that even if a little bit is followed sincerely, one can become free of all fears. And another speciality of this Karma Yoga is that in this there is a Nishchayatmika Buddhi, there is a firm, single-pointed understanding, determination. Why? Because it is based on Praman. So through Praman of the Vedas, the scriptures, we can determine what is my duties, what are my duties, and we can determine very clearly what is my goal. So when my goal is fixed in my mind, and when my actions are also fixed, then the mind becomes calm and peaceful. When there are a lot of choices in front of me, and when I don't know, when I am in a state of indecision, then the mind becomes restless, whether to do this or to do that, whether this should be my goal or that should be my goal. If I am not clear about the goal of life, then there is a lot of confusion. And if I am not clear about what I should do, then also the mind becomes restless. And people come to some conclusion here or there by themselves, by thinking themselves, or by listening to someone. But then afterward they come to know that, oh, that was a not proper decision. Then they change it. Also about our goal, we keep on shifting our attention. We're not very sure about it. But if we take proper guidance of the scriptures gives that one goal and that one path. It becomes absolutely clear. There's no confusion. See, when we talk, people, when they talk about or ask about or think about Hinduism, others get confused that आपके Hinduism में इतने सारे देवता हैं. You have so many different types of rituals. You have so many different books also. And there are variety of Mahatmas also. If you go to Kumbh Mela, you will see all the varieties. And everyone seems to be telling us something different. One person says, इस मार्ग पे चले जाओ. Others say, नहीं, उसके विपरीत ही shows the direction. So normally people, lay people get confused, because if our goal is not fixed, our path is not fixed, then there is confusion. And that we see on the road also, when people don't know where they are going, बीच में ही खड़े हो जाते हैं उन लोग गाड़ी लेके. So there is the whole traffic stops there. नहीं? So the clarity of our goal and our path happens when we take support of our scriptures, of Bhagavad Gita, which is the sar of Vedas. Directly we can go to the Vedas, but if that is difficult, we can take the support of Bhagavad Gita. We should not take support of any so-called modern philosophies or some new age thinking or some other technique which are not in tune to the Vedas or the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita. Then there is confusion, because it might appear very logical and very good, but in the long run it will lead to confusion. See, many people, they just look at the path itself and they say, ye path bada acha hai. But if you don't know the goal and don't know the connection of this path to the goal, then it is all chaos only. See, many times so-called various philosophies and all might appear to be very good. They show us nice path and all, but one should be absolutely clear about it. See, like for example, in our Delhi itself, if you want to go to some particular place, you should know which road will take. There are some roads which are very good. They are well, what you call, tarred and good, smooth and good road. And there is another road which is thoda sa gadbad, good. So just by looking at the road, you should not decide whether to take it or not. ये बड़ा अच्छा सुंदर रोड है, इसी को लेना चाहिए. लेकिन जाना क्या है, सब जगह एक ही. Everyone goes to the same place. No, everyone doesn't go to the same place. So we should be clear about it. And that is what Bhagavan says, कि in Karma Yoga, because the goal of Karma Yoga is to take us to Jnana Yoga, and that Jnana Yoga is to give us that enlightenment. So not only we can make our life here peaceful and happy and harmonious, but we can attain that ultimate goal of our life, that is enlightenment. So that becomes absolutely clear. So in case of Karma Yoga, Bhagavan says, there is steadiness of your mind, because intellect has made a pakka decision based on the praman. So vyavasayatmika buddhihi eka iha kurunandana. But in case we are prompted only by our likes and dislikes, in case our goal and all is we decide based on what I like, what I don't like, or some vague philosophy, or someone's advice, or some stupid crazy ideas and all, then Bhagavan says such mind will take you, there will be infinite branches, and mind will always be restless. And there are some people who only talk about the portion of the Vedas which talks about various fulfillment of various desires, a very flowery language, but they are meant only for bhoga and aishwarya. And such people who have these desires and who go after this variety of pursuit, Bhagavan says their mind, that is not Karma Yoga, and their mind will never gain abidance in samadhi, in meditation. Then they should forget about meditation. Then they should just do some new age meditation. Pay nice money, then go to nice, what you call, air-conditioned room with like nice fragrance, music and all, and just sit there. But the samadhi which Bhagavan is talking about will not be attained. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadha na vidhiyate. Bhagavan says it is not possible. So the plus point of Karma Yoga and the negative point of all this sakam karma, Bhagavan pointed out to Arjuna, and then he gives him direct advice in the next verse, verse number 45. Traigunya vishaya vedaha nistragunyo bhavarjuna निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थः निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान् त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदाः निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन। हाँ, हे अर्जुना, भगवान says कि अर्जुना, that all this Vedas, Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Samaved, Atharva Ved, and the Karma Kanda portion of this Vedas, their main topic is related to the three gunas, related to the Jagat. See, Upanishad, it talks about that which is beyond this Jagat, beyond the three gunas, that Brahma. But most of the portion of the Vedas, they talk about the world, how to live in the world, how to perform karma, and attain not only good things in this world, but also one can attain Swarga. So, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. So, this is the topic of the Vedas. They are within the scope of the three gunas, and that is required. All of us, we are expressions of these three gunas, our personality. The body, the mind, the intellect, our senses, our whole personality, the outer personality, is expression of these three gunas. The world is made up of three gunas, the sattva gun, rajogun, tamogun. More about this we will see later on. In 14th chapter, Bhagwan gives details of these three gunas. So, if we continue with the karma kanda portion of with the karma only, which is indicated in the Vedas, the sakam karma, they will they will keep us in this world itself, unless we drop all this kamna and pursue the path of karma yoga. Therefore, Bhagwan is guiding or advising Arjuna that, hey Arjuna, you become nistraigunyo bhavarjuna. You try to transcend these three gunas. The Vedas, the topic is within the three gunas, because that is how the samsara is, the jagat is. But you transcend these three gunas by first taking this path of karma yoga, and then slowly gaining that knowledge, and then you transcend these three gunas. Nistraigunyo bhavarjuna. See, this is the direct thing Bhagwan is telling Arjuna. Bhagwan is leading Arjuna from his sorrow, from his grief, towards that moksha only. Nistraigunyo bhavarjuna. But how? How can I become free of these gunas? So Bhagwan gives briefly the path also is shown here. He says, Nirdvandvaha, Nitya Sattvastaha, Niryogakshema, and Atmavan. Atmavan means get established in your own self. The self is beyond the three gunas. See, our body is made up of three gunas, mind is made up of three gunas, but the one who is knowing this body, one who is experiencing this body, the self, is beyond these three gunas. And we experience that self without this body, without the mind. When do we experience? In deep sleep state. So in deep sleep state, as well as in samadhi avastha, that is consciously going into deep sleep state, being wakeful in deep sleep, or being not wakeful in deep sleep. So in that state, we become free of these three gunas. But one should attain it consciously, proactively, properly, and get established in our own self. So that Bhagavan says is Atmavan. But how to become that? He shows these 3 steps: Nirdvandvaha, Nityasatvastaha, and Niryogakshemaha. See, that is the style of Bhagavan. He briefly tells certain things, then he elaborates it elsewhere, then he again comes back to it. So Bhagavad Gita itself is a beautiful commentary on itself. Bhagavan explains himself everywhere. So Nirdvandvaha, he says that if you want to become free of these 3 gunas, you have to become free of all the kamna toward these 3 gunas. See, how do we go to sleep? Let us think a little. There are some people who can't sleep. Why can't we sleep? What happened? A lot of thoughts are there which are disturbing. Worries, those who worry, they also don't sleep. Those who have lot of desires and all, they also don't sleep. Anxieties, they also can't sleep. Election, they can't sleep. Why? Because the mind and all is so active. When the mind is active, the mind keeps us in the waking state only. Even when those people sleep, the mind remains active and keep on dreaming variety of dreams. But when the mind gets tired, then the mind withdraws. That is natural process. The mind, when it is tired, it stops functioning. It withdraws and goes into avyakta avastha, unmanifest. And that time we experience deep sleep state. And we experience deep sleep state. But meditation will happen when mind becomes quiet, not because it is tired, but because it is pure. When the mind is pure, that time also mind becomes quiet. When the mind is tired, that time also mind becomes quiet. So mind becomes pure when mind becomes calm and peaceful, when it is not affected by the world. Mind is inside, world is outside. When the mind doesn't get affected by the world, the mind can remain calm and peaceful. But normally, everyone gets affected. So what affects us from the world? What is that which affects the mind? Bhagavan says there are this dvandva, he calls it. The world is made up of dvandva. Dvandva means pairs of opposites. This dvandva gives rise to joys and sorrow within our mind. For example, jay and parajay, what you call victory and defeat, gain and loss, sukha, what you call pleasure and pain, sukha dukkha. These are called dvandva. There are 2 types of experiences which we get in this world. One that is conducive to my mind, and another is which is not conducive to my mind. So everyone has as though divided the world into 2. That which I like, that which I don't like. That which is nice for me, that which is not nice. But this also keeps on changing. Sometimes I like certain objects and it gives me great joy. So that I move toward that object. But after some time that same object starts giving me sorrow, so I try to avoid that object. So the world affects me, or world is experienced in the form of dvandva which affects my mind by creating joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain, joy and sorrow. So Bhagavan says that, hey Arjuna, you become free from this effect of this dvandva of this world. How can I become free of this effect? One thing is that we should accept both. That is one method. You accept victory also and you accept defeat also. You accept pleasure also and pain also. That's called acceptance method. Accept whatever comes as Bhagavan's prasad. So what happens, that whether positive thing happen or negative thing happen, I remain peaceful, because both of them I look with the same vision. Though I know this is bad, this is good, but both of them I take as prasad. Accept both or renounce both. I neither want joy nor want sorrow. But renouncing both is difficult, so accept both. So nirdvandvaha bhava, that is what Bhagavan told Arjuna in the beginning also, कि सुख दुखे समय कृत्वा लाभा लाभो जया जयो ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापम वाप्स्यसि. That try to accept whatever comes as Bhagavan's prasad. You remain same in that. How is this possible? He said, you can again take the help of the gunas only. But which gunas? Sattva gun. If we are in Rajo gun, then we get affected by this dvandva. If we are in Tamo gun, then we go into deep sleep state. So Bhagavan says you try to remain in Sattva gun. What is Sattva gun? Sattva gun is of the nature of knowledge and of the nature of happiness. Knowledge means we should try to gain this proper wisdom. Proper wisdom will help me to remain in Sattva gun. And happiness, what happiness? Inner happiness. Try to experience the happiness of your own inner self. Not the happiness which we derive from the world outside, but try to experience the happiness of the inner self, like little children, not big children. We will find them, they are very happy by themselves. अपने आप में मस्त है. Their happiness doesn't depend on the world outside. They are very deeply happy within. Sometimes the outer situation are not conducive. They cry also, they laugh also, but they have a certain sense of deep peace and happiness, joy within. Similarly, we can also experience, we can also develop this. This is an attitude that we need to remain in that inner joy. Bad things happen, accept it, face it, but remain with that inner joy. Good thing happen, accept it, face it, but remain with the inner joy. That's called sattva. Sattva gun is purity of the mind, quietude of the mind. In that state, we experience the inner joy. In Rajogun, we experience joy when we come in contact with the world outside. In Tamogun, we experience joy when we go to sleep, or we become lazy or forgetful. But Sattvic joy is when the mind is peaceful and we experience the prasannata of our own inner self. That's called prasad also. Bhagavan calls it prasad. So Arjuna, you stay more and more with this sattva gun, with this wisdom and with this joy. The third thing Bhagavan says, Niryoga Kshema. Become free of yoga and kshema. What is this? Yoga means all the effort which we put forth to acquire what we don't have. To acquire what we don't have. And kshema is effort to protect what we have. So most of the time, sadharan people are busy with these two types of activity. To acquire what I think I don't have or I don't have, and to protect what I have. And when our life is totally involved with this yoga and kshema, we are not available for the spiritual journey. We are totally busy with this. Therefore, later on in the 9th chapter also Bhagavan says that you think about me and I will take care of your yoga and kshema. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. That you think of me, you meditate on me, you follow my path, I will take care of your needs. In Bible also it is said. Bhagavan says, same Bhagavan, he says that you choose me, you follow my path, and I will take care of your needs. Whatever is required, I will take care. That's called surrendering our yoga kshema to Ishvara. Not that we become lazy. We keep doing our work. But don't become tense. Don't start worrying. What has to come in our life, Bhagavan will bring it. What has to be protected, it will be protected. See, if Bhagavan wills, then nobody can destroy. Whatever has to be protected, he can protect. And if he wills, then nobody can prevent it from getting destroyed also. So, absolute faith in God and surrender your yoga kshema to Him. Then remain all the time in sattva gun. This can be done through satsang, through prayer, through sattvic food, through sattvic company, and through developing that attitude of inner peace and joy. Everyone has it. Unconditional joy is that sattvic joy only. Conditional joy is rajasic joy. Unconditional. And everyone experiences. Sometimes you're, kya ho gaya? Nahin, sometimes we are just happy. Sometimes things are bad outside, but that fellow is very happy. And people get irritated also. इतनी परेशानी है देखो, हंसते रहता है, शर्म नहीं आती है. But what to do? I am happy. So that's called inner peace and happiness, sattvic. So remain more and more in this. This is called sattva gun, wisdom and happiness. Remain more and more into this wisdom and happiness. Surrender your yoga kshema to Bhagavan. Don't get affected by the dvandva. Accept them both as prasad. अच्छा हो गया भगवान की कृपा है, बुरा हो गया भगवान की कृपा है. नहीं, लड्डू मिल गया भगवान की कृपा है, करेला मिल गया भगवान की कृपा है. जो चाहे सो कर कृपा तुलसी तेरो है. तुलसीदास जी says that whatever you want to do with me, you do. I belong to you. Why should I complain? You are the boss and you love me and I love you. Whatever you do for me is good. So just accept. So Bhagavan gives this formula like here, to become nistraygunya and to gain abidance in the self. But this itself will be then later on elaborately will explain. But here, Sankshep mein, he gives the entire path, he shows him the path. So nirdvandvaha, nitya sattvastaha, niryogakshema atmavan. So traigunya vishaya vedaha, nistragunyo bhavarjuna. Don't have any other kamana. Just perform your duties free from all desires, and I will take care. Now the question is that there are so many rituals mentioned in the Vedas and so many rituals mentioned in other smritis and all, and they have very interesting results also. And you say you give up all these results. You don't have any attachment to all this. You perform your duties, surrender them to Ishvara, don't have any desire. अरे बाबा इतने सारे डिजायर वाले चीज है. I will feel miserable. I will feel a great loss. Yes? Sometimes people take vow that oh today my उपवास, और उसी दिन घर में पकोड़े बनते हैं, जलेबी आ जाती है, and you have taken व्रत that नहीं today कुछ नहीं खाऊंगा मैं. So you feel real irritated also with people at home. So similarly, one may think that Vedas have given such wonderful results of various rituals. Will it not be a great loss if I give up all of them and follow this path of spirituality? Many people, they tell youngsters also, those who come, अरे इतने यंग एज में आपको क्यों आने की ज़रूरत नहीं, बाद में करना है ये सब, बुढ़ापे में नहीं, दांत वगैरह गिर जाते तब प्रसाद खाना चाहिए, चला नहीं जाता है तो तीर्थ यात्रा में जाना चाहिए, एंड व्हेन आई कांट हियर प्रॉपर्ली देन प्रवचन सुनना चाहिए. इतनी जल्दी क्या है ये? So many people, they have the feeling that if I walk this path of spirituality, I will lose something. Like they talk about that cat also, who ate lot of rat and then went for Hajj. नहीं, पहले से जाएंगे ना रैट मिलेगा ना और कुछ मिलेगा. So Bhagwan clears the doubt in the next verse. He says, यावान अर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावान सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः यावान अर्थ उदपानि सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके. He gives an example first. Bhagwan says, let us say somebody is thirsty, want water, or we want to take bath, or we want to swim, or wash our clothes. Then we go to the water body, maybe a well, or a pond, or a little stream, or maybe a lake. We go to that water body. We have to go. We have to go towards that water. But just imagine, if everywhere, wherever I see, there is water. If water is everywhere available, there is a flood, everywhere water is available, then I don't have to go to the particular well, because all the waters of the well, of the lake, of the ponds, everything is included in that water. You understood? In the same way, Bhagwan says, if people have to fulfill some desire, they go to the Vedas, they perform some ritual. I want this particular desire fulfilled, so okay, do this ritual. I want to gain that result, okay, perform this action. And after gaining this variety of results, not only in this lifetime, but in other lifetime also. We can go to various lokas, Swargalok, Brahmalok, and obtain lots of variety of results. Bhagavan says, all these results and much more are included in the result of self-knowledge. Brahmanasya vijanataha, the Brahmana, the wise person and the sattvic person who has gained self-knowledge, then in that self-knowledge is included all the results of all the rituals put together. Means it is the very source, very ocean of happiness in which is included all the little happiness of this world. I don't see any smile on your face, but doesn't matter. So this all our actions, whatever we perform in order to gain the result, what exactly are we looking for in that result? Why are we looking for that result? We want happiness. We are seeking happiness. All of us, by performing action, we are seeking happiness. But whatever happiness we gain is always temporary. For a short time we become happy, then again it goes away. थोड़ी देर के लिए आज पार्टी है, then you are very happy. Then the party happens, and then everyone goes away, and then lots of this bartan, this, that, and all. And नौकर चाकर भी सोए हुए कहीं पर, and you are left alone. All the joy goes away. So every joy which we gain through some gain is temporary, but the self is of the nature of supreme bliss, infinite bliss. So having gained that, one gains everything. It includes all the results of this world. That's what. So just like when the entire place is flooded, we don't have to go to a particular well to collect water. Similarly, when the entire system is flooded with happiness, you don't have to go to a particular result to gain happiness. So, yavan artha udapane, whatever the gain of a little pond or a little water body is there, when everywhere there is flood, same utility is there of the Vedas when a person gains self-knowledge. Then there is no more use of all these rituals for him. So, tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. Therefore, Bhagavan, after creating this enthusiasm, after praising this karma yoga so much, after saying that this desire prompted activity is far inferior, one should drop all this, dedicate all your actions to God, and this will lead you to that self-knowledge. And having gained this, all the gain will be yours only. So having said this, now he has to tell us what is this karma yoga. Briefly, tell us what is this karma yoga. So the following verse is, I think, one of the most famous verse of Bhagavad Gita. Many of you must have heard this verse. Karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फलहेतुर्भुः. Bhagavan tells Arjuna directly that, hey Arjuna, I had told you about this path of knowledge and path of karma. And you, hey Arjuna, you are qualified now only for the path of action, path of karma. You are not qualified, sorry to say, for the path of knowledge. Karmani eva adhikaraha te. Your adhikar, your qualification is only in following the path of karma. And many of us fall under this category. And also in spirituality, first one has to follow this path of karma only and prepare ourselves. So Bhagavan tells Arjuna, you are qualified for karma yoga. Later on he will object. He says, you praise knowledge so much, then why are you making me fight this war? Why are you propelling me into action? Again Bhagavan will tell him that you are at this level now, so you follow this path. So karmani eva adhikaraha te. Karmani, in karmas. Which karma? Nitya, naimittik karma. Giving up kamya and nishiddha karma. We should perform our nitya. Nitya means daily duties and occasional duties. Daily means which have to be done daily. Occasionally some duties come, then those are called occasional. Some death, some birthday, some what you call special ritual. These are all naimittik. Shraddha, like dharmic karma, we have shraddha, we have some other karmas which are done on a special day. So those are naimittik karma. Then there are some which you have to do every day. Yajna dana tapak karma, every day. Every day we should do some puja. Every day we should do some japa. Every day we should do some dana, do something for the society. Share something with the society. And every day tapas. So this, Bhagavan says, is your adhikar. So you keep doing it without having any attachment to the results of this action. You just do it without worrying about the result. Ma phaleshu kadachana. You don't have adhikar in the result of action. See, when we perform an action, to perform action is under my control. But to get a particular result, what result will come in my hand is not in my control. That is not in my control. I can perform action. I can also predict, but sometimes my prediction may go wrong. Like Arjuna is fighting this war, Bhagavan tells Arjuna, you just fight this war. You might win this war, you might lose this war also. So sukha dukkhe samay krutva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujyasva. So my right or my control is there in action, not in the results of action. The result of action depends on the totality. The results of action depends on so many factors. See, for example, I will not do it, but just example. Suppose I throw this watch. Where will it land will depend on so many factors. One is what effort I put forth to throw it, with what angle it goes, what are the resistance from the air and all. So many things, the current, which trajectory it will take. All sorts of, so many factors are there. But it will happen according to the laws only. It will not break any physical laws. It might break someone's head, but it will not break any physical laws. Similarly, I not only do perform action with my body, but also perform action with my senses, with my mind. Just like I throw the watch, I can throw a thought also. I can throw a feeling also. I can throw an attitude also. Eh? And that also, the result comes according to the laws of nature. Exactly what will happen depends on so many factors. Let us say I throw a tantrum. I will not, but just example. Now what will be the result depends on so many factors. Depends on who are there in front of whom I am throwing the tantrum. What is their mood that day? What are the various other influences? So many things are there. Nobody can predict it. Nobody can tell anything. That doesn't mean it is without any rhyme or reason or without any logic. It is according to the laws of nature only. So the result depends on all these factors, and it comes in future. Action is performed in the present, a result comes in. It might be the next moment, or maybe after many years also, or maybe next lifetime. So Bhagavan says, you don't have any control or right over the result. That is my job. I am the karma phala data. I am the giver of the result. So don't try to teach me my job. You do your work and let me do my work. And I am impartial. I just give as you have done. But also Bhagavan elsewhere says that I am little partial to my devotees. If you pray to me, if you surrender to me, then I will take special care of you. But otherwise, according to the rule, I will give you the result. So, karmani eva adhikarahate. Hey Arjuna, your adhikar is only in performing karma. Just do it. Whatever your duties are, just keep on doing. There are certain duties which are towards our body. There are certain duties which are towards our body, which are which are voluntary and involuntary. Yeah? Certain things we have to consciously do to take care of our body. But certain things the body has not given us that, like breathing. If breathing was one of our duty, then it would have been total chaos only. We would have forgotten to breathe many times. But breathing, Bhagavan has not given us. Without breathing, the body will not survive. But breathing, Bhagavan has not given us. Bhagavan says, ye pagal bhul jayega. So even when I am in deep sleep state, totally I am cut off from the body continue to breathe. Whether you are aware or not aware, breathing goes on. Whether you are young and old, breathing goes on. Whether you are sick or healthy, breathing goes on. Whether you are happy, unhappy, breathing goes on. Involuntary. Without any likes and dislikes, the breathing goes on and on and on. So just as we breathe without having any likes and dislikes, it is happening by grace of God only. He is as though breathing through me. Similarly, Bhagavan says, perform all your karmas just as naturally as breathing, without having any likes and dislikes. Just karna hai, karo. Karyam itteva yat karma. करना ही है, इसलिए कर्म करो. सो माँ फलेषु कदाचना, आपका अधिकार फल में नहीं है. See, this verse is also misunderstood. Many times people say you keep on doing but don't expect result, or don't what you call take result. Sometimes the boss can quote this and say, you आप काम करो, salary देना नहीं देना वो मेरे पे छोड़ दो. But boss को भी अधिकार नहीं. अधिकार is Bhagavan only. He gives the result. So just perform your duties and the result will come. Just take it as prasad. Ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. Because if you get attached to the result, if we have insistence on a particular result, If we become too anxious about the result, then what happens? We become the cause for the particular, what you call, for getting tied down by this result. Karma phala hetu, we become the one of the result of action is punarjanma. We are born again. Why? Because we have asked for a result. If it doesn't come in this life, it will come in the next life. We should be available there to receive it. So having attachment to the result is like getting tied down with this samsara. I will give example. Like on some places and all, they have this, people sit on the street to do that शेविंग करने के लिए. फर्स्ट क्लास वो उसके हाथ में वो होता है द रेजर. एंड मार्केट में लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर रनिंग हियर देयर दिस दैट एंड ऑल, एंड यू हैव ओपनड योर लिटिल शॉप. शॉप में नथिंग, वन कुर्सी है, सामने पेड़ पे एक शीशा लगाया हुआ है, और दूर से नलके से पानी भर के लेके आता है मग में. नहीं, and he wants to make more and more money. So one fellow comes there, दाढ़ी करना है, अच्छा, तो उसको लगा के रखता है. Another fellow is there, then he also, उसको भी लगा के रखता है, बैठ जाओ. Then he shaves this fellow, and then another third customer comes, so he puts that shaving cream on him. So इस प्रकार के सबको पकड़ के रखता है वो. And once आधी दाढ़ी हो गई, you can't even go. भाई साहब जल्दी करो, हाँ ठीक करेंगे. You can't even go. So you get caught up by that fellow. Unless he does the whole thing, you can't go. Some frustrated people साफ करके चले जाते हैं, but otherwise normally you can't go because you get caught up. Similarly, when we have expectation from the result of karma, when we are attached to the result of karma, we get bound by future. We get what you call conditioned by that. We are compelled to come in future to take the result. So in this way, we get caught up in this samsara. But when I enjoy the karma itself, when I enjoy the present itself, when I am totally fulfilled in the present moment, I am not interested in future. And when I become non-interested in future, that is called, I gain vairagya. And with this vairagya, I can dive deep within myself and recognize my own self and gain that self-knowledge. It's the psychology behind it. It's very interesting. So Bhagavan says, hey Arjuna, don't become cause of the result of the action. In the sense, don't, by getting attached to the result, by insisting on the result, don't get caught up in this karma bandhan. So ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. Then Arjuna must have thought, or many of us might think, if karma is such a troublesome thing, then why not just drop all these karmas? He says, no. Ma te sangah astu akarmani. Don't get attached to non-action also. Laziness, dropping all karma, renouncing karma will not take you to your spiritual goal. Karma you have to do. But what you have to drop is your attachment to the result. Then you will become free of this karma. If we understand this, it's very interesting. So here Sankshep mein Bhagavan tells us the essence of karma yoga. So karmanyeva adhikaraste, our right is only in performing our karma, not in the result. Don't get attached to the result. Just perform karma. Then what will happen? You will become free from this bondage of karma. You're understanding what I'm saying? See, there are people in this world we find, especially simple people in villages, this, that you will find, they are just so happy, just doing their work. कुछ नहीं उनको, कोई कुछ ऐसा ये नहीं, but just doing their work itself, there is so much of joy, so much of grace, so much of beauty is there in their life. Again, that day I gave example of nature also. You look at the bird flying in the sky. कहीं कोई जाने की कोई जल्दी नहीं, कुछ नहीं, आराम से वहाँ पर bird you will find flying and all. Just enjoying the very present moment itself, flying itself. Not that I have to reach there, I have to gain that, I have to become that. No. Naturally it does it. The nature guides it. No. Similarly, if human being also, if we just perform our duties properly, that will take care of our rights also. That will take care of the society also. Everything will happen smoothly. And by just performing this properly, I will attain my ultimate goal of self-realization. Bhagwan gives one more shloka for this, to explain more about this Karma Yoga. So this and the next shloka is the essence of Karma Yoga revealed in this chapter. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate yogastha kuru karmani. Bhagwan says, Yogasthaha kuru karmani. Established in yoga, you perform all your actions. All your actions means all your duties, nitya, naimittika, whatever your responsibilities are there. Duties are there. Duty is not a big, heavy word. Responsibility. Our obligation towards ourselves and the world around us. Those are our responsibilities. As long as we are alive, we have our responsibilities. So just fulfill them. And how? Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji says, Kevalam Ishwarartham, with the attitude that this is my service to Ishvara, as a worship of God, as worship of Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? Ishvara is our own self which is present in everyone. See, when we recognize that Ishvara only in us, when we experience ourself only restrained to this body and all, then that is Jiva. But when we come to know the self in me is self in all, that is Ishvara. जैसे मान लीजिए इस कमरे में we have this space. How many space are there total? There is only one space. One space. Suppose I say that in space lies all the planets, all the stars, all the galaxies. I am talking about the space not restricted by these walls, that one space. Maha Akash. But when I talk about the same space restricted by this room, then we talk about it as what you call a hall, a bedroom, a drawing room. And this space doesn't have all the planets and stars and all in it. Similarly, when I understand myself as only restricted to this body, then that is just an individual, jiva. But when I understand the self in me is the self in all, that is Ishvara. Ishvara reveals his nature in the seventh chapter, etc. He says, I exist in everyone. I am the life in everyone. I am the creator of this world. I am the support of this world. I am present in everyone. Bhagwan is not seen. His real nature is not seen, but what we see this world is the expression of Bhagwan only. So the entire world, everything is expression of God, who is present equally everywhere. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana Premate Pragata Hoi Mein Jana. He is present everywhere, in everyone. So when it is said you perform action dedicated to Ishvara, to this Ishvara, not an imaginary Ishvara, but to this Ishvara who is present in and through everyone, dedicate your action to this Ishvara. So, yogasthak kuru karmani sangam tektva dhananjaya, without any attachment, without having attachment to the result of action, free from all desires for the particular result of action, you just perform your action, your duty, fulfill your duty. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Whether I get siddhi, whether I get a positive result, or whether I don't get that result, taking it in equal attitude. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. This samatva itself is called yoga. To keep the mind equanimous towards all the results, you perform your duties. Established in this yoga, you perform. What is this yoga? Samatva. Samatva means equanimity towards all the results. And you perform your action. See, even if we can bring this attitude, it will take time, but as the attitude start coming, we will experience extreme peace and joy here and now through this action itself. कोई स्पेशल योग करने की ज़रूरत नहीं, कोई स्पेशल ध्यान करने की ज़रूरत नहीं. No special ritual is required. What Bhagwan is teaching us, that how we can, while doing our own duties, regular duties, how we can convert it into our spiritual path by just changing our attitude towards the result of action and towards the action itself. Perform your action as worship of God and accept the result as prasad. बस यही कर्म योग है. Perform your action, what? Duties as worship of God and accept whatever result comes as his prasad. This is karma yoga. So siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. And if we follow this path of karma yoga, our mind will start becoming more and more pure. And the faster it becomes pure, faster we will experience peace and happiness. And once the mind becomes pure, we become fit to gain knowledge of our own self. We will come to know the source of this peace and happiness as our own self. This is the simple path, though it takes time to comprehend, to get inspired by it, to get connected to it, but a very simple path is shown to us by Bhagwan in Bhagavad Gita. Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, bas, do hi. So more about this we will see tomorrow. Acha, tomorrow is the final day. So we will see few more shlokas tomorrow. And then the next Sthita Prajna Lakshana. We will do it in the next our session. Sthita prajna means the characteristic of those Mahatmas, those masters who have attained this self-realization. How do they live in this world? How do they interact with the world? Their characteristic is given in the later portion of this chapter. So now we will sit and meditate for some time. Today more time for meditation. So those who want to go early, you can leave, because once it becomes dark, then it becomes difficult to leave. Okay? So close your eyes, sit still. Take a deep breath. Relax. And just be happy with yourself. With your eyes closed, give yourself a good smile. The smile of a person who is happy within. Smile of a person who is fully satisfied. The smile of a person who has got no complaints against God, against nature, against anyone. Everything is fine. Everything, whatever Bhagwan has given us, is good. He has given us human birth, which is a great gift. There are millions and millions of other beings of this in this world. We could have become any one of them. But Bhagwan has given us human birth. So feel that gratefulness. So be happy with yourself. Let there be an inner joy. Experience that inner joy. That inner peace, which is experienced in the present moment. Feel that peace pervading your entire body, pervading each and every cell in your body. Deep sense of peace, calmness, and inner joy. No worries, no anxieties, no desires, no anger, no jealousies, supreme peace and happiness. This is Sattva Gun. Remain in this Sattva Gun. Give up all your worries about gain and loss, yoga and kshema, surrendered all your worries to God. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.